She's not here either. I am seriously worried about that girl puppet. This is the second time she's gone missing overnight, and the last time the mice had to help her out of the pickle she'd gotten herself into. What are we going to do with her? Mousy, 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 here, here, mousy, mousy, here. Noah, have you seen anything of Johanna? No, Granny, and now Eek is missing too. I imagine he needs to visit his family and friends occasionally. He can't spend all his time with you. Yeah, I suppose that's true, but I sure miss him when he's gone. Well, maybe if you'd help us search for Johanna, it would take your mind off the mouse. Well, but Granny, we already looked everywhere 3 times. Well, you could at least pray for her. Well, I've been praying for her while I look for Eek. Well, I never. Boy Puppet, that mouse is not as important as our Johanna. Do you even care that she's missing? Well, of course I care, Granny. Young puppets these days, I declare. Why, you'd think they nothing mattered to them except... Oh, my, what in the world am I doing? Well, I was wondering that myself, Granny. Are you all right? Well, I am now, Noah, and I am so sorry. I reminded myself of what I was reading in the Bible this morning. Oh, what was that? In Luke chapter 2, it tells how an angel told Joseph to bring Mary and little Jesus back from Egypt to Israel as King Herod was dead and no one was still looking to kill him. So Joseph settled his family in Nazareth. Yeah, that's why Jesus is called a Nazarene, like the Old Testament predicted. Right. And in verse 44 through 52, it says that every year they all went to Jerusalem for Passover. The year that Jesus was 12, they came as usual, and everything went fine until they started home. Joseph and Mary thought Jesus was among the friends and family who were journeying together. But after the first day's travel, they couldn't find him anywhere, so they went back to look for him in Jerusalem. They frantically searched for him for 3 days before finding him in the temple court, asking questions of the teachers, who were astonished at his understanding and wisdom. Oh yeah, I just read that too. Joseph and Mary were really worried about him and maybe a little angry, like you were. Mary and Joseph. Mary said to Jesus, "Why have you treated us this way? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." And Jesus was surprised about that. He asked, "Well, why were you searching for me? Didn't you know that I would be in my Father's house?" They didn't understand what he meant, but he went back to Nazareth with them. And when I read this passage, I thought, well, why were they so worried? Didn't they know God is in charge? And here I am doing the same thing. Huh. I can see both sides, though, Granny. I mean, Jesus probably got completely absorbed in the teaching and discussions in the temple court and didn't even think about letting anyone know where he was. And Mary and Joseph were very afraid that something had happened to him. Well, Jesus went home with them, and he obeyed them all of his childhood. Human children need to know that Jesus obeyed his parents. And his parents needed to trust God. And I need to trust him too. Johanna is a big girl puppet, and I need to let her go, not keep her so close that she can't serve God in her way. You go on now, Noah, and find your mouse, and we'll both be praying. Thanks, Granny. See you later. Well, that was certainly embarrassing. I can't believe I did that. Father, I am so sorry I got all upset. Please forgive me, and please, if it's not against your will, would you bring our Johanna back to us safe and sound? Amen. Well, I feel better now. I'll trust him, and I know that he'll take care of her according to his will. Hey, Granny. Well, Johanna, there you are. Oh, we've been a little bit, well, all right. I've been very worried about you. Are you all right? Oh, I wish you wouldn't worry so about me, Granny. I had an idea to remind humans about us, and I went to their office and lay down in plain sight. A couple of them came back to work on the plans for their New Year's party at the church house here, and I lay there very still, hoping they'd notice me, but they never did. And when they left, they locked the door. So I waited until morning, when the secretary came in, but she didn't see me either. So after she left the room, I ran back over here. I'm glad nobody noticed that the storeroom door was slightly ajar, or I don't know when I could have gotten back. I see. Well, that was pretty dangerous, all right. And it isn't a plan Gramps or I would have followed. But we're more timid than you are. I'll make you a deal, Johanna. I'll stop worrying and let you pursue your ideas if you'll let one of us know before you go off like that. Really? You'll let me go without a fuss? I'll convince Gramps and your parents, but you must keep your part of the bargain, too. Oh, I will. Thanks, Granny. Puppets. When we walk with the Lord in the light of His word, what a glory He sheds on our way. When we do His good will, He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey. Then in fellowship sweet, we will sit at His feet, or we'll walk by His side in the way. What He says we will do, where He sends we will go, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey.